All right, so I gave you some red flags to be aware of in men. All right, and when you see those things, that's definitely a reason to let him go. But then the question is asked, do you have to automatically let him go, or can you change him by addressing these issues? So it is possible in some scenarios that these can be fixable situations, all right? And that by addressing it the right way, there can be change and progress in a way that allows you to move forward. So I'm going to lay out some principles you need to be mindful of if your desire is to fix the situation. And I do believe that before you cut someone off, it is always best to address the issue, all right? Because it can be a misunderstanding. It can be behavior that he didn't realize was a problem. As much as you may think he should know better, people always say, well, it's common sense. Well, common sense ain't always so common. So it's always important to discuss things, be very clear, and give the person the opportunity to show you if they're willing to fix it or not. But here are the 5 principles you need to be mindful of if you want to attempt to see change with this man. Number 1, evaluate the overall relationship. So one of the big mistakes that I see so many people make is that they focus on the specific issue, but they close their eyes to the overall bigger picture. And so what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, you're dating a guy and you're having an amazing relationship with him, all right? But then this man forgets your birthday. And to you, it's, oh, hell nah. How could he ever forget my birthday? It is unacceptable. And I have seen women get so mad, so livid, and take that one issue and project it as to saying, well, this man clearly doesn't care about me, to actually break up with him. But here's the thing. The overall relationship was amazing. So why would we assume that that one issue was basically telling you that he doesn't care about you rather than it actually being a real mistake? All right? So you basically lost sight of the overall relationship and got locked into that one specific issue. But it also happens on the flip side, where I've seen people who, there's a couple other angles. I've seen people where the relationship is trash, is absolutely toxic. But because this joker did one nice thing, oh my gosh, he must love me. Oh my gosh, this is the reason to stay with him. Are you serious? So you're going to ignore that he treats you like crap 98, 99% of the time, but try to define the relationship by that one instance, that 1%, that is also wrong, all right? As well as the fact of, again, let's say, for example, the relationship is bad, all right? So let's stick with the toxic relationship. And so let's say it's a toxic relationship, and then you find out that he's liking women's pictures on Instagram that you don't appreciate, okay? And you told him this was an issue for you before. All right, and this is real life situations because I've come across this many times. And my thing is this: it's not to say whether that specific issue of liking the women's pictures should be important or not, but it is to say that if your whole relationship has been trash, has been toxic, has been not worth your time, why are we so fixated on that one issue? You have enough reason to say this won't work. So again, if we're attempting to fix something, we have to evaluate the overall relationship and ask ourselves, okay, is the problem here just this one specific incident, or is this a pattern of incidents? Is this a pattern of bad behavior? Is this a pattern of toxic energy in this relationship? Because if it is, then we're not going to really get to a better place by only addressing that one thing. So it's not to say that you can't attempt to address it all. It's to say that if you're going to confront this man and make any attempt to make things better, then yes, everything has to be put on the table. Everything has to be addressed, all right? But if it is just an outside incident, basically you have a great relationship and there's this one mistake that he made, then don't lose sight of the overall quality. You still address it. It still needs to be corrected. He doesn't necessarily get a free pass as far as he doesn't get to continue the mistake because he's great in other areas. But we can give him the benefit of the doubt that he made a genuine error, bad judgment, whatever, lapse of judgment, whatever the case may be. So in general, evaluate the overall relationship when there's a desire to see if things can change and be fixed. The next thing you need to be mindful of, or the next principle, if you want to see if things can be changed, is you need to hold yourself accountable. Listen, one thing I have learned throughout all these years of doing this is that when someone feels attacked, they're going to get defensive. And when someone feels like you're singling them out and blatantly, or for whatever reason, ignoring your contribution to the issue, they are more resistant to accepting their responsibility. Now, it's not to say that the man should not hold himself accountable, but it is to say that if your goal is to see if you can genuinely fix this, then you have to come into addressing it with the willingness to hold yourself accountable for your part of the problem, for your contribution of the issue. You cannot make excuses for, well, I did this because you did that. That's not going to work. That's not going to fly. You've got to be able to say, you know what? You're right. I was wrong for responding this way, or I was wrong for doing this, or I recognize that this is not the right way to go about things. When you show a willingness to hold yourself accountable, you increase that man's willingness to do the same. Not to mention that when you can hold yourself accountable, if he does not match you by doing the same, then it is clear he needs to be let go. It is clear ain't nothing going to be fixed. When that man can see you are willing to embrace your responsibility and still scapegoat his, he ain't serious. Let him go. It's done. You did your part by trying. Now you gain the clarity that you needed. You move forward. So again, it's extremely important that if you genuinely want change and genuinely want to see if you can fix things, and you want to set yourself up for success to have a healthy relationship, you must embrace personal accountability. Now let's get to number 3 on the list. But before I do, real quick, get your copy of the book, The Man God Has for You. All right. Best-selling book. Women are loving it. It has over 4,000 reviews. You can get it by clicking the link in the description or down below, or go to www.themangodhasforyou.com. You are going to love it. And again, so many women are being helped by it. So let's get back to the topic at hand. Number 3 is you need to address the issue in a calm and loving manner. Okay. I'm sorry, I had to laugh. It has to be in a calm, loving, sweet manner. So here's the thing. I just mentioned it. When people feel attacked, they get defensive. One of the big problems that couples have, people have, all right? It doesn't matter if it's a romantic relationship or family relationship or business relationship, is that people go in guns blazing. And they're trying to address the issue while exuding a lot of attacking energy. And I say attacking energy because it's not always the words you speak. It's not you getting up in their face. Sometimes it's just the attitude. It's like, have you ever spoken to someone and they're speaking properly and they may be even speaking calmly, so to speak, but you can feel the stankness coming off their body. You can feel that attitude. It's like that passive aggressiveness, and deep inside you just want to reach over and smack them one good time. Well, guess what? That's what happens when you come at people the wrong way. You put them in a position where they're no longer being receptive. They just want to retaliate. So you've got to be mindful that, again, if the goal, and I keep stressing this, if the goal is to truly see if this can be fixed, if change can occur, then you have to address it in a calm, loving manner. Now, if you are upset and you know that you are not in the right mind to talk to that person, talk to that man at the time, go to your corner and calm down. Take a time out, all right? Lay down, have a drink, whatever you got to do to get yourself to a level place. Or highly consider expressing yourself via letter, all right? Via email. Somewhere where you can write, think your thoughts out, process everything, check your tone, check your delivery. It allows you to have a better a more effective method of communication. And I think writing a letter is just a great method of communication, period, when it comes to addressing issues and expressing deep concerns, because again, it's so easy for verbal conversations to go left, people to get defensive, to deflect, distractions to come about. So much can go wrong in verbal communication in those types of conversations. So I do think in general the letter is great. But if you're able to communicate verbally in a calm, loving manner, and you guys are able to have a discussion without distraction. So I would also encourage that you guys go to maybe to a quiet place where no one's around, pull away from the hysteria or whatever is going on in your life so that you guys can really just focus on each other in that moment to talk. And again, express yourself in a calm, loving manner. And so now, if he cannot respect and honor that approach, then again, it makes it clear he's not for you, or it makes it clear he's not serious or is not mature enough to have a healthy relationship with you. So you're only going to expose what kind of man you're dealing with more when you're able to come correct yourself. And you will give yourself the best chance at either, again, seeing that you need to let him go, or being able to fix the situation and see genuine positive change. Now, number 4 on the list is that you need to look for progress and understanding. So many women throughout the beginning of time have addressed their man, told him the issue, and he said, baby, I'm sorry. All right, I'm going to fix this. It's all good, right? And sometimes it's genuine. And there's been many times there it wasn't. But I think what's important is that there was no focus on progress and understanding. So let me start with understanding. It is not enough to simply say, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. Because that doesn't show that the man truly connects with what the issue is. All right? And when you don't connect with what the issue is, then more than likely it's going to happen again. So if, for example, ignoring you when you were trying to express yourself hurt your feelings, he has to be able to understand why, all right? And you guys have to talk that out, because if not, again, if he doesn't get why that bothers you, then why would he really be mindful of it next time? He may try a couple times to be aware, but because he's not connecting with the issue, it's just not going to play out the right way, and chances are he will not be able to consistently keep up the more appropriate behavior, or the behavior that you're looking for. But when he can understand you, like, okay, I get it. I get why this hurt your feelings. I get how you interpreted this action. And getting it does not necessarily mean I agree with how you interpreted it, but I understand that's how you receive it. I understand that when I don't do X, Y, Z, you take it like this, all right? And so now I'm going to not do that because I understand where the issue lies. We've got to reach an understanding with each other. And the same way you need to be able to understand him and why certain things bother him. Because again, it is understanding to me that unlocks true change. It is understanding that allows you guys to truly grow together and evolve and now become stronger together. So we must look or seek to create understanding with the issues. And then the next step is progress. And I say progress because it's not about perfection, it's about progress. So if this man has, again, let's say he grew up in a household where they spoke very aggressively to each other, all right? So he's been aggressive with you verbally, and then you let him know this is a problem. And he says, okay, you know what, I understand, I'm going to work on that. And now you're seeing genuine progress. He's been watching his tongue, he's watching himself. But then one day, let's say he slips and says something sideways, not in this like horrific way, but just maybe he crossed a little bit over the line, just a tad, all right? Don't dismiss all the progress. Understand that as a human being, he has to go through this process of flushing this bad behavior out of his system. But the fact that he's been genuine in making the effort, in showing progress, in being much better, then don't let that one isolated situation define the whole thing. All right. And you got to give him credit for the efforts that he has been making, especially when you simply just pointed out to him, hey, listen, we talked about this. And if he can say to you, oh, you know what? My bad. You're right. I apologize. You're good. Now, if he goes back to dismissing, deflecting, making excuses, that's different. But when he can still hold himself accountable, when he makes the one slip up a mistake and he's made progress this whole time, that's what we need to be looking for to see, okay, is there a real change here? And can we now move into a better place with each other? All right. And now last on this list, and again, I still got more for you because I'm really breaking everything down in this video for you. But last on this list of this specific topic of can you see change? Can change happen? Is creating a structure for improvement. Now, what I mean by that is I think too many couples, when they go through some issues, they discuss it sometimes, all right, we're going to work on this. But then there is no structure to working on it. And therefore, they're not finding a way to implement a certain practice that allows them to really get into the flow of now the new way we're going to do things. So what I mean by that is, all right, if we know we've been neglecting each other, or one of us feels neglected, we both feel neglected. All right, we don't make enough time for each other. Rather than simply saying, okay, we're going to make more time for each other and I'm going to do better. No, how about we create a structure of we're going to have a date night, or we create a structure of once a week or once a month, we make sure we sit down and talk to each other about all the issues, like what I like to call a relationship checkup. And it can be once a month, once every 3 months, whatever your structure is, that's for you to decide. But the point is, have structure, because you guys have to have something that holds you both accountable until you get into a nice flow and rhythm with everything. Because again, a lot of this is you have to unlearn old bad behavior. And so when you are vague about how we're going to go about tackling this, it's very easy to fall off track. It's very easy to not get the change that you desire, even if both parties were actually at that time genuine about trying to make change. So again, lay out how often we're going to do certain things, how we're going to do certain things, relationship checkups, create that structure. And in that structure, create reward systems. And what I mean by that is, nobody wants to feel like I'm making all this effort to be better and it's going unrecognized. I'm making all these efforts to be better, but all you do is come down on me the minute I make a mistake. We have to have an understanding of rewarding or acknowledging the effort, rewarding or acknowledging the good behavior, showing appreciation for it, because that's what's going to fuel more better behavior. That's what's going to create more actual sustainable change. Nobody, again, wants to feel like I'm doing this for nothing. And too many times when people have gone through a lot of issues, they have this mentality, and sorry, ladies, I have to say it, a lot of women will have this mentality of, well, he's been putting me through all this for these last several months, maybe even years. I need to see a good month or two of him acting right before I give him any credit. And I get to act however I want to in the meantime. Well, guess what? You're going to undermine the whole process. You're just not going to get to where you want to get to. You can't do that. It's an unhealthy approach. Both parties have to be willing to put their best foot forward. Both parties have to be able to acknowledge and reward each other, again, in pouring in appreciation, love, respect, all these things, if the goal is genuine change. So if you are aware of those 5 principles and apply those things, then yes, I do believe genuine change can happen. And those red flags we mentioned at the beginning of this video can be fixed and addressed. But now I want to give you one more thing to consider before we wrap things up, all right? And that's some of the positive things you can look for in a man. And tying this to, again, we're talking about he's either someone that looking for these positive things to see if we can have a healthy relationship, or looking for these positive things to see can genuine change occur. You know, these are principles that have to be considered if we're going to say, all right, there's hope here. Okay. So number 1 is a willingness to talk. So again, I mentioned earlier, if he's unwilling to communicate, why are you in a relationship with him? You cannot have success without communication. So very simple. he has to be willing to talk. He may not be the perfect communicator. He may have some struggles here and there, but he's willing to make an effort. He's willing to try. He's willing to at least attempt to listen to you and be present in the conversation. And again, men who are serious about you, who truly love you, I do believe they are willing to do those things, all right? But as always, I got to give you a flip side sometimes. You've got to make sure you're willing to talk. And when I say willing to talk in an effective manner. Not yell at him, not make him feel some kind of way, not attack him with your words. Willing to express yourself effectively in a loving, calm manner. Willing to be open and transparent. You can't complain about him not being open and transparent if you're not doing the same. So you got to bring to the table what you want him to bring to the table as well. So y'all can match each other's energy, all right? So a willingness to talk is definitely a positive trait to look out for. Number 2 is a genuine effort, all right? So again, we can talk about things, we can say I'm sorry, we can do all that. But are you actually making an effort to be better? And I feel the need to say this. As a woman, you've got to be willing to give him credit for that effort, because I've seen so many times, wives, girlfriends, where he is making an effort, but it's almost like you don't want to give him that credit because, again, you're still holding on to all that has gone wrong previously for various reasons. And so it's important that you recognize it for what it is. Is he trying? And that's whether there's already been an issue, or even from the beginning when you're dating a guy. Is he making an effort? When you talk to him, when you express concerns, does he make the effort to make things better? If he does, then all right, this is a positive thing. You should embrace that. You should acknowledge it, and you should celebrate it, to be honest with you, because again, it's that appreciation and love that's going to breed more production and create more effort from that man. Number 3, consistency. All right. So listen, true change is not about they did right one time, all right, or they do right sporadically. It's about they are getting consistent with it. Now, again, it doesn't mean a mistake may not be made. It doesn't mean people don't backslide sometimes, all right? But that's understandable when, again, when we evaluate the overall body of work and we see that if 90% of the time he's getting it right, he's doing better, he's moving on the right track, that's consistency. So if there's that 10%, 1%, whatever, that he may have slipped up, all right, in the process of him trying to get better, that's something we can work through because he is showing an effort to improve and get to a better place. So continue to communicate, continue to talk about it, but yes, there must be consistency. So see if that's something that he can give you, because if he can't, then there's no point in even trying with this man. Number 4, the fourth thing to look for, a positive thing to look for in a man is emotional control, all right? So, we talked earlier about physical and emotional abuse, and that's a product of a lack of emotional control. Of course, it's a product of a lack of healing and dysfunction within that man, but again, that man does not have good emotional control. He flies off the handle, and now he says things he shouldn't say, or he puts his hands on you and does things that he shouldn't do. And so it's important to look for a man who can have that control over himself. Again, we may all have some moments, so to speak, but there is a foundation of control that needs to be mastered by men. And any man watching this, that is important for you to understand. You've got to get control over your emotions. You cannot let your emotions get the best of you. And hell, I would even encourage the women the same thing, because it's not having a good handle on it that leads so many people to doing things they regret. All right? So it's very important that we mature in that way, that we evolve in that way, that we're able to have good, solid emotional control. And then the last thing, I know it's been a long video, but listen, the last thing, personal accountability. All right? It's important that if we're going to have relationships with people, that we evaluate that they are willing to hold themselves accountable for their actions. And so any man you are going to be with has to be a man who can look himself in the mirror, look you in the face and say, my bad. That was on me. You're right. I could do better here. You're right, I need to fix this. Rather than everything is an excuse, scapegoating this, scapegoating that, blaming everything, never pointing the finger back at himself. That is a man who is not evolved, who is not mature, who is not healthy enough emotionally to have a successful relationship with you. So when that is not in place, then that's someone to let go and not consider. But when he does have that, then that's a great sign and a great positive thing to embrace in a man. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. Listen, you deserve a man who loves you, respects you, and cherishes you. Do not settle for less. So please understand, if he does any of the things I'm going to mention in this video, it is time to let him go.